Hello, my name's Nick Baker and I'm the new head of rowing at Monkton School. I'm from a little village called Woodcote. It's not far from Goring and Streatley in Reading area, not too far away, and prior to that I grew up in Windsor. So I started rowing at Windsor Boys School when I was 13, a long time ago now, and I've been involved in the sport ever since. I've rowed nationally, internationally myself. At junior level I did 3 junior world championships in 2004, 2005 and 2006, and then I went on to row at Oxford Brookes for a period of time. And then on leaving Brookes, I took up my job at the GB rowing team as the para rowing performance coach, and then eventually ended up as the head of coaching for para rowing. You know, coaching different ranges of athletes, I think it's individuals' development and success is always relevant to the person that you're working with. One of the things I had on top of the Paralympic programme for the 11 years that I was there was better people, not just better rowers. And that was kind of one of my fundamental concepts actually, was, you know, developing people's character, developing the way they treat other people, and through developing all of those characteristics you inevitably end up as a better athlete anyway. You're able to train harder, look after yourself better, look after the others around you better. So it's sort of that holistic development and not just focusing on the raw numbers and times and pushing people without any other benefit from the sport. I obviously worked with some interesting characters. I think the interesting part of Paralympic rowing is it wasn't your traditional route into our sport. People came from all kinds of backgrounds. Some people had congenital injuries that they'd had from birth. Some people acquired them through situations where they had accidents or something had happened in the military, for example. So we had a fascinating mix of people, and all of them wanted, you know, something different from the sport. But I think we did an incredible job of pooling together everyone's skill sets and making the most of that as we were on our journey towards success. So if someone had been in the military, we would pull on them for some motivational talks, perhaps some experience that they've had in the military, as we were going through a tough block of training. I would forget more often than not that they even had disabilities because of the way they'd learnt to navigate life, and I learnt as much from them as they did from me, I think, as I went through those 11 years. And it was just a great community where we all sort of grew together and ultimately achieved something pretty special in Paris. It was the most successful team performance of any Paralympic team that there's ever been, and that was because of the way everyone pulled together. It wasn't any one person that led it, it was the culture and the environment that we had that allowed everyone to produce those performances. I think in Paralympic rowing I'd sort of achieved everything I set out to achieve, so I leave Paralympic rowing as the most successful Paralympic rowing coach that there's ever been. I think I'd created a system that was able now to sustain itself, and for someone else to sort of step in and take on the mantle and take it in a new direction and push it on. And I'd always said to myself that at some point in my career I would step back to junior rowing, because of what it did for me as a young man, and the direction it sort of pushed me in my own life and the success that I've had from just being involved in the sport. And I would love to be able to offer some of, you know, my experiences back to people at that age, and hopefully have that positive impact as well. The gravity this place had in terms of the characters, the feel, the warmth that I experienced on that day was incredible. And I had a couple of other interviews for a couple of other schools, which may have had bigger programs, bigger schools, but there was a bit of magic at Monkton actually that pulled me back in. And some of the children that I interacted with on my interview were just really interesting people, so I enjoyed it. Rowing's got a great history at Monkton. I think, you know, a number of high-profile athletes have sort of started their rowing career at Monkton, and I'd love to continue that legacy and be the first step on some pretty successful rowing journeys and academic journeys as well, so that, you know, rowing doesn't always have to only result in rowing success. It could form the character of someone that goes on to be successful in other areas of life as well. So I'd love to play my part in that development of just successful, well-rounded young people. Oh, I'm really excited about the racing in the summer. It's going to take me back a long way to my own junior career, and just remembering those, especially the younger years, that first time you head out to a start line, the nerves, the sheer excitement of not knowing what's about to happen when that buzzer goes for the first start line, and it's such a raw, visceral experience when you're racing down in a boat on the river. And I used to just look forward to every weekend when I was younger. It was such fun. You know, the parents are all there supporting. You've got your barbecues, your snack boxes. There's always something going on in the day, and it's just so fun to be a part of that, you know, armada of people racing down a river. It's really unique. So I can't wait to get back on the bank and, you know, create an environment where everyone can have fun and hopefully go and win some races as well.